KOB Eyewitness News 4 at 6.
Deadly crimes are reaching new highs in Albuquerque. Another homicide in the metro this morning pushed the city's yearly rate to a number we haven't seen before. Emily J6 is in studio with more.
Well, Kasha, just last Thursday, we told you the city of Albuquerque reported 71 homicides in 2017. Now, that broke the previous record of 70 that was set back in 1996. And with a new homicide this morning, the city is well on track to see numbers we do not want to be associated with.
It's a scene that's becoming all too familiar. Police tape, CSI vans, officers searching for clues, signs that another killing has just occurred.
A little shocked. You know, it's like everybody else. It couldn't happen in my neighborhood, but yet you see it can.
Foothills police discovered a man shot to death near Prospect Avenue in Juan Tabo on Saturday. Neighbor Mike Hewitt says he walks his dog every morning and saw detectives out as early as 4:30.
So it looks like you probably had a homicide, huh? He said, yeah. I said, there's no bodies across the street in the dumpster. He said, no, they're just looking for evidence.
4 people are being questioned.
But it's an active investigation. We're still talking to those 4 people we took into custody.
The homicide in this unit marks the 72nd this year. This year, the city of Albuquerque saw the number of murders surpass highs set in the 1990s. Take a look at this graph. While Albuquerque has seen fluctuations with highs and lows over years, not a single year tops the high seen in 1996 when 70 homicides were reported, at least until this year. And we still have nearly a month to go.
Well, it's taking a toll on our detectives, I can tell you that. And these detectives are working around the clock.
So why the spike? Well, Officer Drobic says it depends on who you ask and what their agenda is. But the bottom line,
there's individuals out there that we can't counter. There's no tag plan that we can do. There's no patrol that we can stop homicides. Usually acts of passion, acts in the moment. So unfortunately, homicides happen. That's why I have a dedicated homicide team to investigate these homicides.
And Officer Drobic does tell me APD does have 5 dedicated homicide detectives, as well as 3 of those that are in training. But he does admit that is not enough to handle all the caseload. Back to you.
All right, Emily, thank you. A pair of suspected armed robbers made their first appearances in court today. Raul Garcia and Zuli Carrillo are accused of robbing a Family Dollar store and a Domino's Pizza this week. In both cases, police say Garcia pulled a gun and the pair demanded cash. Judge Edward Benavidez said the crimes they are accused of are serious. He set a $5,000 cash-only bond for Carrillo. Prosecutors want Garcia to stay in jail until his trial. However, Judge Benavidez ordered Garcia will be held without bond until a district court judge can rule on that motion. Police say these two, Chris Vigil and Carlos Garcia, were driving a stolen truck recklessly across northeast Albuquerque yesterday. A criminal complaint says Vigil and Garcia abandoned the truck after the drive shaft broke. Both were arrested following a foot pursuit. Police report there was meth inside the stolen truck. Judge Edward Benavidez set bond for Vigil at $3,000 cash only. Bond for Garcia was set at $2,000 cash only. All right, Eddie, here we are, 3rd day of December. Is it going to start feeling more like December?
You're going to have to wait a couple days.
Okay.
But, yes, it is feeling kind of mild for it being just days away from Christmas. Sandia Peak right now is showing us that gorgeous time lapse of partly cloudy skies at times, but it is looking to be pretty dry, and of course it was dry across much of the metro throughout the day, even though there was plenty of cloud cover. Also, the temperatures are still above normal where they should be for this time of year. We are looking at some 50s currently in the Santa Rosa area, 57 degrees in Roswell. As you can see in north central areas of the state, we're in the 40s currently right now. So the big picture is showing that yes, there are clouds. In fact, some areas today did see a little bit of rain. Straight ahead, we're going to be showing you that rain, and we'll let you know if we can see anything like that in the future, and also let you know about a big cool down which is making its way to New Mexico as we speak.
All right, Eddie, right now many people are looking for a Christmas tree. If that sounds like you could consider cutting your own. The Bureau of Land Management is selling Christmas tree cutting permits at their offices in Farmington, Taos, and Santa Fe. The permit allows you to cut 1 piñon pine or juniper tree on BLM land. The permit costs $5. President Trump is calling a tax bill passed by Republicans in the Senate early this morning a big win for the American people. The final vote was 51-49, with only Republican Bob Corker joining Democrats in voting against it. The plan would slash the corporate tax rate and offer more modest cuts to families and individuals. It would also repeal the individual mandate to buy health insurance. The president and his fellow Republicans say this bill will kickstart the economy, but Democrats say it will hurt the middle class.
But what we're doing is, if you look at it, we're going to grow the country. We're going to grow jobs. We're going to be growing everything.
According to every independent study, the legislation passed last night gives incredibly large tax breaks to the very, very wealthy. It raises taxes on millions of middle-class families.
The Tax Policy Center predicts 2/3 of middle-class families will actually see their taxes increase, but it's not a done deal just yet. The Senate bill has major differences from the House version, meaning another round of negotiations and votes are on the way. So how could the Senate bill impact New Mexico? James Jimenez with New Mexico Voices for Children told us big cuts could be coming to our state.
It does real damage to the state's budget. I mean, it really hurts New Mexico state budget in that it potentially cuts the state revenues by $600 million. That's really troubling.
He says that's because revenue from the oil and gas industry in our state would be gutted, which in turn would hurt education. But Republican Representative for New Mexico, Steve Pierce, says it could help create better job opportunities. A former elected official is back in trouble tonight. You may remember Jerome Block Jr. He was a former public regulation commissioner until he stepped down amid fraud and embezzlement charges. According to our partners at the Santa Fe New Mexican, this time Block is wanted for a burglary. Bernie Costello has that story.
From questionable campaign finances to misusing public funds, as an elected public regulation commissioner, Jerome Block Jr. was forced to step down from his position in 2011. That's after 4 investigators discovered questionable charges on his state-issued gas card.
I wouldn't abuse state property or abuse a position that people have entrusted me to serve to do that.
But he did, and he later admitted to it. According to the Santa Fe New Mexican, now Jerome Block Jr. is back in the criminal spotlight after this warrant was filed in Santa Fe for his arrest. His mother identified him as the man who broke into a condo and stole valuables, cash, gift cards, and more from a couple staying there. According to court documents, Jerome's mother is a property manager at Ocho Vez in Santa Fe. She says Block has worked for her for 2 to 3 years, so he is familiar with the rooms and how to get into them. Some of the items were recovered in the property manager's office, but the couple says a $6,700 watch is still missing. Block is facing burglary charges.
Funeral services were held today for a former Las Cruces police officer who was killed in a terrible car crash. Services for J.R. Stewart were held at St. Genevieve's in Las Cruces. Mourners also lined a procession route to pay their respects as Stewart's body was taken to be laid to rest. Stewart served in the Las Cruces Police Department for 35 years. Las Cruces police have described him as being quite possibly the most loved and respected officer our community has ever known. Meanwhile, the 2 Colorado fugitives accused of causing the crash that killed Stewart will stay behind bars. The Las Cruces Sun News reports a judge ordered Daniel Lowell and Trista Schlafly to be held without bond until their trial. Prosecutors say Lowell and Schlafly were on a drug-fueled Bonnie and Clyde rampage last Monday when the crash happened. The Salvation Army in Albuquerque says their stolen car has been recovered. Just yesterday, we told you how the car was stolen from the Salvation Army headquarters near I-25 and Montgomery. Today, Major Raywin Espathia said she got a call from Bernalillo County deputies saying the car had been recovered. Major Raywin says she was told the car was involved in some kind of an accident and rolled into a ditch. She's not sure of its condition, but she says it's currently being held at a tow yard in the South Valley until the organization can pick it up. The state auditor's office isn't happy with our state's largest ever settlement with the Department of Energy. The settlement is over the release of radiation at the waste isolation plant near Carlsbad 3 years ago. The Santa Fe New Mexican reports the DOE would have faced around $54 million in fines. Instead, under the settlement, it will cover the cost of $74 million worth of road improvement projects. The New Mexican reports the auditor's office wants the state environment department to review its settlement policies. They say the settlement means the state is missing out on millions in cash that could be used toward a number of things like education. Environment Department officials are questioning the push from the auditor's office. They say the current settlement resulted in the state ultimately getting a lot more money.